Well, it's a pretty gnarly day here in Las Vegas. Lots of drizzly rain and fairly cold for the desert. So I think today we're not going to have any really cool car videos, but we'll do a basic video on some stuff that we run into all the time here at the shop. And maybe we could just bring a little clarity to something that's really pretty simple but seems to get confused or lost in the translation often. So hang in there. It might be a little boring, but you might pick something up also. Alright guys, here we go with 4 of probably the most common fittings that you're going to run into on your project. So we'll start with the number 1. This is National Pipe Thread. Take a look here, you see that this fitting has a taper almost like a V. This is the sealing surface of this particular fitting. So this, you would apply your Teflon tape, Teflon paste, pipe dope of your choosing to this, because again, this is the sealing surface. Now a lot of times we see the next fitting confused as this fitting. This is straight pipe. So much like the regular National pipe, this is a 1/4 inch fitting. It's straight, so just picture a bolt like your intake bolt or what have you. These most usually will be sealed with a copper crush washer or an aluminum washer. This is the sealing surface of this particular fitting. If you do not have this, it will not seal. Now we get into the fun stuff. 45-degree automotive flare. So this is the fitting that you're going to find on your fuel pumps, most of your brake lines. This is one of the most common hydraulic type fittings that you're going to find in use on your earlier American vehicles, even up into some later years. So this, again, the thread here is a straight thread, much like a bolt, but the flare here is the sealing surface of this fitting. So this would be driven into a female piece that would have a male nub on the inside that would seat directly in here. That seals your fluid from leaking. That seals your fitting. Do not use any kind of sealant here. And the reason you don't want to use a sealant here is, honestly, on these flare fittings, they can be pretty touchy. And if you get a scrap of Teflon tape in there, if you get it spooged up with some dope in there, it can create a leak, because this is a zero tolerance surface in there. It's tight, so that's where it seals. Now the 4th guy here, we're getting into more of a performance oriented fitting. This is a 6-to-6 O-ring Boss AN fitting. So what we have on this side, the O-ring side, is the straight thread of our flared side, but it seals with an O-ring, either Viton or what have you, fuel resistant materials out there. The O-ring is the sealing surface of this. Now you're not going to run into this type fitting on much factory or stock type stuff. This is going to be a lot of your aftermarket, Aeromotive, Holley, a lot of the more performance-oriented stuff in general, your regulators, some aftermarket electric pumps, fuel rails, so on and so forth is where you're going to see this. Now, for the sake of expediency, I've just laid out all of these fittings go to a number 6 AN male flare. Now, much like our regular automotive 45-degree flared stuff, this is a flare, seals on the flare, but the major difference between an AN flare and a regular automotive flare is this is 37 degrees here. So this won't work with this. This would be specifically for your AN hose ends, which I'll show you here. So our number 6 typical AN hose end for braided line. Take the cup off of it here, and you can see the inner barb. Now how this particular fitting works is, you know, barb, pretty self-explanatory, but it's the cup that applies the pressure to the hose and really makes it seal on the barb, and that's what locks up and seals your braided hose end. That's the flare. So this fitting, no sealant here. Anything you put here can result in a leak. All right, guys, that's it here from Super Wet Las Vegas. Starting these how-to videos really small, really basic, and they'll graduate into more advanced, more complex. I guarantee it. But we're just going to start with the small stuff first that gets overlooked, and I don't see a lot of out there. So anyways, give us a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that jazz. Have a good one.